Hello everyone. In these tutorial videos we're going to learn how to use Adobe Premiere Pro. So there will be two videos. In this first video it is going to go over the basics of just simple using and exporting once you are done with your clips. The second video will be more intense on editing. So the end goal is to get you to where your timeline can look something like this, where you know how to have audio set up, your clips on the screen, and then over here on the left you can have organized files inside bins and have things color coded if you so desire. So first, if you open up Adobe Premiere, you can name something whatever you want the title to be. Save it where you want it. I got mine saved where I want. Most of these can stay the same. Sometimes this is set to DV. Make it HDV for higher quality. And then this is usually unchecked as well, but always check this because it can help us out later with organization. Once you have everything saved and named the way you want, click OK. And so to start, usually Adobe Premiere is going to open up like this. There will be nothing here yet because you won't have anything, but you'll have all these windows and your timeline should be blank. You can start by either double clicking in the import media, or you can go up to File, Import. So you'll click there, and then you can go to wherever you have your footage. And so say these are the clips I want to work with. You can drag in .mov files, MP4, audio, anything. You'll drag that in and you'll click Import. Okay, so once your footage is in, you have a couple options. You can leave it here if you don't have a ton of stuff going on, or if you have a lot of files and you want to separate types of files, maybe stuff was with the drone, stuff was with the camera, stuff was with the cell phone, or separate your audio. You can go down here, and if you hover over anything, they obviously tell you what they are. You can click New Bin, and you can name this bin something. So say this was, I have some stuff from a drone. I can click that, and then the things I know that were from the drone, you can drag into that folder. So when you close the folder, they've gone away. And you can make another one, say camera. You can go in here and drag that away. And so you have organized bins or folders where you can name them what you want, and then you can organize things better. Another thing you can do is you can right click on the folder, and you can go down to Label, and you can choose a color that you want the folder to be. So say I want this to be Caribbean, you can see it now changed. And you can change the footage within that, so when you drag it onto the timeline, you see I have multiple colors here, and these colors mean something different. And so that way, if that helps you, you can organize your files in that way as well, by color coordination. So once you have something in here, you can go to the clip, you can double click on it, and then your left window here is going to open it up. Now you can manually, with your mouse, you can scrub through and find the section of the clip you want. And also using your keys on your keyboard, you can use L to go forward, and you double click it, or triple, you go faster. K is to pause, and then J is to go backwards. And so you can use your keys to do that. And when you find something you like, you want to mark it in. And then when you get to the end of where you want it, you can mark it out. Or the shortcuts for that are I or O, in and out. Once you have that done, you have the option here to drag the video only or the audio only. And so say you want this clip, so expand it here. You can grab this highlighted section by grabbing the video, and you drag it onto your timeline. Now, if you already don't have footage here like I did, just drag your footage to the timeline, and when you drop it, all this stuff will appear. You may not have all these lines and your eyes and everything, but once you drop the first clip, your timeline will pop up, and then you have the ability to place it wherever you like. Once you are inside here with the clip you want, you can change your sequence settings. So that means you can change the size and the look of how your end result is going to be. Do you want it to be 4K? Do you want it to be 1080, 720? So normally, whatever clip you drag into on the timeline, your sequence settings automatically sync with what that is. So for example, because this is 4K footage, my timeline is now set to 4K. But say I have 1080, or if I want this to be 1080, you can simply go up to sequence settings, and then here you can type in 1920 by 1080, or make it 4K or whatever you need to. And this will change automatically to the footage you have inside here. Everything is actually set to 1080 because even though it was 4K, I scaled it down to 1080 because I didn't want it to be so big. So change that however you need, and then you can click OK, and it'll change your settings to how you need them. Another really helpful tool when in Adobe Premiere is this bar at the bottom. You can drag this to get up really close to your footage or pull it out to get farther away so you can see as much of your timeline as you want. When you are within your timeline, usually when you drag in video and audio, it's going to be smaller and look something kind of like this. But say you want to zoom in and see something particular about an audio clip, you can zoom in here. And then when you get these little arrows, you can drag this down and expand your clip. And then you get more options down here in the bottom. These options are called keyframes. And keyframes are very helpful where, say you go to the beginning of something and you want to fade in music, you select the audio clip you want, and see this is visible now. You can add a keyframe. It's kind of hard to see here because it's at the beginning, but they just add a little keyframe to the clip. You can scrub over to where you want, add another keyframe, and then you now have the ability to adjust your audio how you want it. So say you want to fade in, you obviously drop this down to 0, and then your audio now is going to slowly fade in. And so you can do things like that where your keyframes, you can adjust stuff all over the place, and you can put them wherever you like, and you can use them also to cut and divide certain pieces of your clips. When you are in editing and organizing things, say you don't like the way some of this stuff is put together, you can simply, when you are on a clip, you can go wherever your toolbar is over here, or C for the razor tool is your shortcut. It has this little razor, and you can actually cut the clip where you want it. And so you have, individual pieces, or you can just leave them together how they were. So once you start getting clips onto your timeline, again, you can always go back over here to your project bin folder, and you can select the clips you want by double clicking on them. You can sit here and scrub through and mark the individual pieces that you want. Remember, I for in, O for out, or you can use these guys right here. And you just simply drag them onto the timeline where you want, and then you can sit here and just start organizing clips, placing them right next to each other in whatever order you want. And so that is how you organize it. And then again, once something is on here, if you feel it's too long or too short, what's really cool about Adobe Premiere is you can, with this red arrow, you can expand your clip longer to make, say you cut it too short, like you get to the end here and say, you know what, that wasn't long enough. You can grab this and pull it out. Or the exact opposite, say you put it down here and say, I don't like the way this looks. You can grab this and shrink it as well. Or again, with the razor tool, C for a shortcut, you can just simply cut it where you want and then delete the piece you don't need. The same goes for audio, where you can expand audio or make it smaller with that, or you can also just cut it and then delete the piece that you do not need. Something to keep in mind with Adobe Premiere is typically, I think by default, it gives you 3 rows, maybe 3 or 4 on audio and video. You can make as many as you need. If you keep dragging video up, it just keeps adding and adding and adding rows. So you could seriously have 100 rows of audio, 100 rows of video if you were to be filming that much. Some of you asked about doing time-lapse videos. Say this was like a 10-minute piece that I wanted to show over time quickly. Right-click on the video, and you can go to the speed duration. And then here it is at 100%. You can type in a time to make it shorter, Or you can simply grab this and drag it up and make it, or you can type in, say 500%, 600%, 1,000, whatever. And then when you click OK, it simply makes it quicker. So if you had like a 10-minute cooking video, you wanted to make that 10 minutes 60 seconds, you can keep dragging that percentage up or typing it in until your duration here gets to the time you want it to be. Say you want to reverse something, you simply click the reverse button there, you click OK, and it will completely reverse the clip. Instead of going forward out to the ocean, we are now coming away from the ocean. That was really quick, but here, let me expand that. And there you go. While you are editing footage, a very helpful tool is the Mark tool. It is M on your keyboard. If you look closely, you will see how I have a bunch of little green tabs all over my footage and my audio and everything. Say there's a certain type or a certain spot on your footage on this clip where you want to time something to music. Select the clip you want, and as you're going along and you see something, you can hit M and start marking stuff where you want it to be. And as many times as you click that M, it's going to put a mark there. You can do the same where if you select the audio, you can start selecting M to put marks there as well. And that way maybe you want to time something to this. It'll help you where, say this is something you want to time to music, you can put it right on that mark where you want, line it up, and so that'll help you with music or audio, or sorry, music is audio. That'll help you with music, with timing your clips or transitions or however you want. So using the M key to mark certain things is very helpful. Okay, so again, the second video will show editing, but say you've finished everything, you've got everything on your timeline in the order you want, it's sized correctly, you have everything colored and edited the way you want, you are ready to export. So you're obviously going to go to File, Export, Media. Once this pops up, you have a lot of options to choose from. So down here at the bottom, this was a 2-minute video, and it'll say the duration of what you're exporting. Up here is where you're going to want to pay attention. So normally by default, this will be H.264. Sometimes it's QuickTime. Where you're going to want to be at is H.264. This is the typical format for video, and it's really good quality. So you can click that. And then if you are exporting to YouTube, instead of trying to have to figure out, all these settings down here and what the bit rates mean and sampling rates and all that stuff, instead of going through the video, instead of trying to have to figure out all this stuff, Adobe Premiere has added presets for you. So remember back to sequence settings, say your video is at 1080p and you want to upload it to YouTube. Well, then you go down here to YouTube, 1080p HD, you will select that, and all these settings will change, and audio as well. Audio and video will change how that needs to be. And then you'll simply, up here in the output name, you will name it what you want, save it. You'll click save, so you'll name this video, and then you will click export. And then the video, you'll have a loading screen pop up that'll export, and once it hits 100%, it'll go away, and then your video is done and it's saved. If you are wanting to export to social media, say something like Instagram that is a much smaller screen, there are definitely different settings for that. Now you have two options. You can export it, if you just want like a normal MP4 file that you just want to put on your phone, I just say match source high bitrate. And what match source is saying is that whatever this is, whether it be 720, 1080, 4K, or some variation in between on a cell phone or something like that, it's matching the source of whatever this is. And so it automatically knows what your sequence is. So you can just click match source at H.264. When you click export, this will be saved as an MP4 file, a video file, so you can just use that on your phone and put it on Instagram. But if you want to be specific and change those settings, you can Google export to Instagram, and you can find articles where you can go in here and change the width, the height, and it's only a couple of things like the target bit rate, stuff like that. But once you've done that, before you click export, you can save that as a setting. And so you see up here with all these options, I already have an Instagram vids, and you can name it whatever you want. I named it Instagram vids, and so I can click that. The quality looks bad right here because it's on a very big desktop, but when I export this and pull it into my phone, the quality is good because it's made for a small cell phone screen. So that's an option if you want, or like I said, if that's too much to change everything to the sizes, you can simply just do match source, or you can export it to YouTube and Vimeo and then put it on your cell phone from there.